job.
One thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. But we can get out there, reach out, make the case. And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person.
I would say those first days, when there were riots, I could smell the burning tires. And that was a very real thing. And I kept the windows open for as long as I could because I felt like that was such a touchstone of what was happening.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Thanks for joining in if this is your first time. Kamala Harris, she finally found her running mate. It's old white guy. I called that. I don't know if I said it out here with everyone else, but I figured as much. And it's someone that I've never heard of before. He was the governor of Minnesota. His name is Walz. Yeah. Anyway, guys, let me go back. She didn't pick him. I know she didn't pick him. Just like none of the Democrats picked her. He's placed in that role. So, but they both have socialist tendencies, beliefs, and they've both destroyed the states and cities and whatnot that they were a part of, that they were in. He was, he allowed as you saw in the clip prior to his wife, which that was even bizarre. I mean, this is just some crazy stuff that we are witnessing nowadays. But his wife was, it was like she enjoyed it seemed like she enjoyed the burning of the city during during the George Floyd riots. She kept the windows open. And if that had been anybody on the right that said such a thing, because those were some horrible times. People lost their lives and their livelihoods during that time, and it's like she, it's like she enjoyed the fact that society was destroying each other, that the divide was in action, and you had the streets full of Antifa and BLM going out and destroying their own city, their own town, which we know some of them weren't even from around there. They traveled. But it's like she really got off on that.
Head of the RNC for the first official reaction from you, sir. Good morning. Welcome to our coverage. What do you think of Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, the Democratic ticket?
I think this is clearly the most radical left progressive ticket that we have ever seen in American history. I am amazed that Kamala Harris doubled down once again on her radical left ideology.
So let me point this out. I'm gonna just put this out there. We thought she was going to pick Shapiro because of the Jewish vote, in Philadelphia. And we also saw that ad campaign, celebrating her choice of Shapiro as her VP pick, which of course now we know that for whatever reason, either it was just a farce to poke fun of, or they were just testing the waters to see how people would react. Nonetheless, she didn't pick him. She picked this guy. And you know what? Like, I kind of personally, I figured she was going to pick a white guy anyway. Honestly, an old white guy, right? Because she poses herself as a black woman what better image does that give to the Black community than to have a Black woman as president? And I'm doing the air quotes because, of course, that's she's not elected. And honestly, this is a sham election anyway because no one voted for her. Regardless, have a Black woman as president and have a white man, as her VP. I'm just saying, like, do y'all see where I'm coming from? Like, I'm trying to put it into words, but I really can't. But it's interesting that that's what they chose and who they chose in regard to Walz, because no, I've never heard of the man. I mean, of course, I'm familiar with the destruction that happened while, during his governorship, but I never placed a name with the destruction that exhibited during that time. And yeah, they are a match, like, in regards to what their end goal is to be. Like, and now, of course, if you watched my other video where I highlighted the differences between Kamala's website for president and Trump's website for president, Trump had his policies listed, right? His end goal, his agenda, 47, and nothing on Kamala except donations, right? And we see Trump out there campaigning, and Kamala is out here running another basement campaign, just like they did with Biden. So now we see who her VP pick is, and without necessarily having her go out and say what her policies are, what she stands for, we can just see it by who she decided to put beside her. I mean, we had already seen it before. Those of us that don't drink the Kool-Aid, we know who she is and what she's about. But the fact that she's, like, again, she just doubled down on that. Like, you can't dispute it. Open borders, illegals getting all of these benefits, and surgery for minors, trans surgery for minors, and on and on and on, all of the evil stuff. That is what she's for.
To pick a soulmate for the ticket. This is a guy who is soft on crime. This is a guy who is open borders. This is a guy who loves inflationary spending. He's one of the most left-wing members of Congress, and I think that they are doubling down on every single position that we've seen over the last 4 years, whether it's open borders, inflationary spending, or a weak standing in the world for America.
Mr. Chairman, this is Jillian here. The Lugar Center out of Georgetown University, the School of Public Policy, has this index that ranks every member and their bipartisan score. They're claiming that Governor Tim Walz has when he left, had the 7th most bipartisan record of anybody in the House. What are your thoughts about that? That would have been 2015-16.
Yeah, I would say just look at his voting record, look at his rhetoric, the fact that he failed to shut down the riots that burned down Minnesota and supported efforts to put the rioters out on bail, just like Kamala Harris did. The fact that he has supported inflationary spending, he did everything he can to shut down energy moving into Minnesota. And the fact that he is going to be a perfect ideological companion to Kamala Harris and the left wing of this party and the ticket.
Sir, I assume there will be a debate with Tim Walz and J.D. Vance. Can you confirm?
I welcome that debate. I think that there is a lot that we can talk about. I think anytime that you have an opportunity to compare somebody like J.D. Vance, who grew up in rural Appalachia, put himself through school, answered the call to military service when America was attacked, and then is never forgotten where he's from, is going to fight every day for American families. And Tim Walz, who is signing up with Kamala to advance radical left ideology from the White House, there's a clear contrast, and I'm really excited to have that conversation.
Tim Walz.
Yeah, so you've seen that and you heard that, right? Waltz is very, 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 very progressive. Those are just some of the highlights. And honestly, folks, if these two make it into the White House, you can just say goodbye to everything that you love, all of your freedoms, your Second Amendment rights, your health freedom, your freedom to worship. Especially that one. They're crazy radical. It may not happen right away, but we've seen how the left like to play. They like to say that no one is above the law, yet they'll go and put themselves above the law because they are leftists. More and more, of course, is going to come out. It would be amazing to see, or it will be amazing because it's going to happen unless the left decide to pull a switcheroo, which they've been all over the place, of course. The debate, the vice presidential debate. That would be amazing because then you'll have JD Vance and this guy who both served in the military. Vance, of course, Marine, and Waltz was he was in the National Guard. He was in the Army National Guard. He served 20 years. I know he got his 20. No, he got his 20 years. But there's some controversy around that. I mean, they are some of his fellow veterans, those that he served with. They're calling him a coward, a traitor, and some of them are even claiming that he stole valor. Uh, Apparently, before his unit was supposed to deploy to Iraq back in 2005, Waltz decided that he was just gonna freaking retire right before the deployment. So it's the matter of like your country needs you and you decided to bail. You decided to pop smoke and just leave your unit because you didn't want to go fight. But there's a lot more in there. That's just a little tidbit of it. I'm not going to bog you down with the details at the moment. I just wanted to get out here and throw some of this out your way because it's coming together. Harris officially has the Democratic nod. She became the Democratic nominee, which again, oh my goodness, if this doesn't just scream socialism, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how else to paint it for you because she wasn't voted in. She was placed there. They took the voice away from the people, which is what socialism does. It and people and it the Democrats who either would have voted for blue no matter who, with Biden. You got some people that they knew that Biden was on a decline or was already there at the bottom, but they were going to vote for him anyway because anybody but Trump. And now that Biden has stepped aside, Kamala was just like, no, here you go. Now, of course, again, this woman did not get a vote when she was running for president the first go round. Like Tulsi Gabbard went out there and just like obliterated her on the stage. And Kamala, exit stage left right after that. So it's all painted in socialism and communism. What they're doing is exactly what you see happening in places like Venezuela, China. And It's only going to get worse from here. Again, if those two were to take the White House. You mean executive orders? You think it's hard now? It's not going to be a picnic. They're going to come after us. They're going to come after us, the ones that stand for freedom, the ones that believe in God, country, family, traditional values, those of us that believe in small government. They're going to come after us. They're going to it might not be quick, swift. It might just be, hey, she might do what Biden did in his first few days in office, just executive order after executive order after executive order. And it's going to get messy. It will be messy. Again, if they were to succeed. This is why it is valuable to, of course, vote Trump. No, he is not this. He is, when I say vote Trump, guys, I'm not trying to make him seem like he's a god or he is God. And no, I'm voting for who's for us in regard to our beliefs as Christians, as our freedoms. He's obviously the better pick, the better choice. And hearing so many people that still want Kamala Harris, despite her horrendous track record in California and, of course, as VP, she's running a basement campaign. It's obvious, but they still want her. But now more so than ever, guys, we really need to be praying, seeking God out each and every day, praying for our nation, praying for one another, because it's getting spicy. We're getting a glimpse at what could be, and it doesn't look good. But of course, again, as I always say, God wins in the end. This is really historical, what's going on. But I also have faith, despite a lot of people still seemingly wanting to support and cast their vote for such a controversial ticket. We do have a lot of others whom have woken up over the years, and I think that was partially due to COVID at the time, because a lot of people were doing a lot of soul searching and trying to make sense of life and why is this going on and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just expect to see more come out in the next few days. The ticket, I don't know, it might. Shapiro came out later, and he wasn't pleased that Kamala didn't pick him. Something about she was afraid that he would steal the spotlight from her. That's just what I read. But yeah, hey, you know what? I appreciate you guys stopping in again. Please continue to follow up, come back for more. I'm always gonna be on the lookout for sharing truth with you all. Share, comment, like, subscribe, hey, and even if you would like, hit that little bell so you can get a notification of when if and when I ever go live. I haven't quite gotten that far yet. I'm just putting these clips together for you. But yeah, so hey, again, stay blessed, stay prayed, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.